Hey everybody, it's Christopher Nejman. Now, going back into my closet, I pulled out this machine. This is the Brother PC6000. Yes, this was quite the machine for its time. And let's talk about this a little bit, and I'll do a demonstration of the multiple layers of fabric that this can sew. So stay with me and I will be right back. Okay, welcome back everybody. So this is the PC6000 by Brother. This it could have been the ultimate sewing machine, but it did not come with a knee lifter. Yes, but it had a scissor cutter and needle up and down. You could sew without the presser foot. Now, this came in two versions. This was the 6000 and it also came in the 6500. The 6500 was a combination sewing and embroidery machine. Now, this was already far ahead of Janome because of the editing capabilities and the function of the embroidery. Brother always had a one-up on Janome after Brother brought their first machines out. Although this was a great sewing machine, and it still is a great sewing machine, Janome did have features for sewing like a knee lifter, but they didn't have the scissor cutter. And then Brother had the scissor cutter, but they didn't have the knee lifter. So back then, it was one thing after another, and you had to pick and choose and say, okay, which is more important to me, you know? Well, anyway, I picked this machine up used. This was used. A story about this was that I got this from my local sewing machine dealer, and he had it used, and then I brought it home and I started doing free motion embroidery, and I found out as soon as you attach the free motion embroidery foot, it slowed the machine down by itself. And anyone who does free motion embroidery with standard rayon or metallic thread, or rayon or polyester thread, knows that when you free motion embroidery, you sew fast and move the fabric slow. And the only time that you sew slow with free motion embroidery, mostly when you're doing metallic thread. But when this went in free motion fast for me, I couldn't use it, but I didn't want to give it up. So here we go. Here we go. This is it. All right, so here's the brochure. And the cool thing that they advertised about this was, they advertised that this did like 800 stitches. Oh my God, 800 stitches. How fabulous is that? So we look at the brochure here. Come on. Look at the brochure here, and it did all these utility stitches. And the majority of the stitches, though, they included were 637 alphabet stitches. Okay? And then you have 184 decorative stitches. Let me see if I can get this better out and lay this. 184 decorative stitches. Now, one thing I do have to say, Brother could not touch Janome when it came to satin type stitches. Janome still has it on all the over Brother and Baby Lock when it comes to decorative satin stitches, because Janome's got the ball on that one. They really do. Here's your long elongation satin stitches. But the decorative stitches like this, you can see that even today, most of these stitches here are the same stitches repeated in all the current models, just like Janome. But I noticed Janome added a lot more really great decorative stitches on their top-of-the-line machines. So kudos to Janome for stepping up after all those years and adding more. But even my top-of-the-line Baby Lock sewing machine that is like, what, 15 years newer than this machine, 15, 20 years newer than this machine, still has the same decorative stitches as this, plus a few others, but not as much decorative satin stitching. So it says here 904 sewing patterns. Everyone advertises, oh, it does all these patterns. What it is just a combination of where you could do either elongation or mirror stitching and all that. The automatic thread cutter, that was, if there was an automatic thread cutter on my Janome 9000, I would have been perfectly happy. And the only thing about this machine too that's a downfall is it took class 66 bobbins, and the class 66 bobbins did not hold much thread. Did not hold much thread at all. Let's see what else do we have here. I don't remember if this has a sensor for the bobbin or not. I can't remember. But it really doesn't state that on the brochure. Let's see. Brothers New Technology has made their sewing machines even more easy to use, to wind a bobbin. No, it doesn't say anything about automatic sensor. No, it doesn't. But anyway, so here is the machine. And let me set the camera up and I'll go through the screen for you. Okay, so here is the screen. And one thing about this machine is that when it starts up, it automatically starts with the left needle position. I'm going to show you when I'm going to shut this off and turn it back on. And it reverts automatically to the left needle position. I always have to press the center needle position button. That was a downfall. There's no way to reset that in the settings to see, to make it permanent for a center needle position. So these are these decorative stitches, and then we hit next. I mean, these are the utilitarian stitches. Next, next. Look at all those buttonhole stitches. That's great. Next, eyelet stitch, button sew on. Somebody asked me, posted a comment on one of my videos a long time ago and said, could you please tell me how to sew a button on by machine? And you know what my answer is going to be for that. Just Google it. Do a YouTube search. There are so many videos on YouTube that if you enter how to sew a button on by sewing machine, you're going to find a video that comes up. And then you adapt it for your machine. So if your machine has the capability of dropping the feed dogs, then you would drop the feed dogs and you would set your machine for a zigzag stitch. And then you just buy a sew-on button, a button sew-on foot. Let me see if I can pull one up here for you. Yeah, this is a button sew-on foot. You can get it for any brand machine basically, and you put your button under there. I did a video showing how I sew on buttons on my Baby Lock machine. So anyway, yeah. So you guys, you really can find information out there if you just Google search or YouTube search on your own. Okay. So I want to tell you that one. All right, this is not a preaching video. My sew and chat videos are the preaching videos. This is just videos I do to give you an idea of these machines from the past and what we have today. And if you have a sewing machine dealer that you visit and they've got some of these older machines that still work great, look at the screen, it's still nice, pick one up. Pick one up. And you could pick them up very cheap today, and you can still have longevity because this is all aluminum frame. And if that screen is still bright and looking nice to you, buy it. Buy it. Buy it and enjoy it. Okay, so let's look at next. Next, these are all the stitches. Pretty cool, right? And then we've got, check the next menu out. Let me see, there we go. These are the larger elongation stitches. These stitches are a lot longer, they're bigger. And that moves the stitching moves side to side, so you get a little bigger decorative stitch out of these. Let's see, here's your satin stitch. And you can get regular size, small size, elongation, pattern size. Let's go back, previous. Okay, let's go back here again. Here's your long elongation stitches. These are the big stitches. And they're not really, there's a couple satin stitches there. So you did have a good selection of stitches on this machine. You really did. And then you've got information here. Let's see. You have memory, that's your memory. Let me go to, here's the information. Bobbin winding, setting bobbin, upper threading, changing presser foot, changing needle, walks you through different things, basic simple things that most people would ask other people how to do. So if you don't read your instruction manual, like these machines started to put out tutorials or information right on the computer screen. Let's see, this is your oops, let's go here. Just select the middle stitch. So this stitch here is your override for your stitch length and stitch intention. So you had a, you know, the machine offered you a lot. You know, if you're going to do a lot of decorative stitching and sewing, beautiful, you know, this will sew beautiful for you. It really, really will. And I really enjoy this machine. Like I said, it had a scissor cutter, which I absolutely love. And if this had a knee lifter, this would have been the perfect machine. So this is the sewing version. The model, its sister model, does the sewing and embroidery with the same amount of stitches and everything. So let me set the camera up to have you watch me do some test sewing on this on multiple layers of fabric. Alrighty, so let's just take this piece of denim duck denim, I would call this. This is some of that fabric I got from Walmart a long time ago for $1 a yard. Isn't that nice fabric? $1 a yard, my friends, $1 a yard. Remember when Walmart would sell these great fabrics off the boat for $1 a yard? I used to run to Walmart at 3 o'clock in the morning because I'm a night owl, and I would go and buy 5 yards at a time, 10 yards, 15 yards. And that's how I was able to afford to really experiment and do a lot more. And you could still get some decent prices at Walmart for fabric, but it's not the selection it used to be. And their departments aren't as much as they used to be. So, you know, visit your Goodwill, visit Salvation Army, go to house sales. If you live near a retirement community and somebody dies and they have a house sale and the lady was a sewer or the gentleman was a sewer, you get some good deals. You get some really good deals. So watch for those garage sales and everything. So let's just do 2 layers first of all. Again, the needle is a universal size 12 and my stitch length is 3.0. If you see the machine bouncing around, it's because it's not on a solid wooden table. It's on my little pop-up leaf here for ironing. Because this isn't one of my machines that I keep out permanently. Alright, and here's what I love. The scissor cutter. Yes. Nice stitch. You got a nice stitch there. That's the front. Here's the back. Produced a nice stitch. Let's fold this again. So it's 2, 4, 4. Let's see here. It's four layers. Now this model, when it came out, did not come out with the. This one did not come out with the push button, black button leveling foot. But if I change the ankle on here, where it'll accommodate that push button foot, then it'll work. I'll have to play with that and see. Alright, so that's 8 layers. Cut. And this is the time when Brother made the metal plate. This is all metal, none of that plastic like they put in today. This is an all metal plate here. So you don't have to worry about accidentally breaking that piece of plastic plate. Okay, so that was 8 layers. Now this is 16. We'll do 16. All right. And shall we try, see if it'll take 32? Let's try 32. Here we go. Let's see. And by the way, these are the original feed dogs on here. These feed dogs have not been replaced since this machine came out. And it's sewing nice. That's sewing nice. Now, one thing I want to point out to you is that on this machine, if you get that ski slope effect, let's go one more stitch. Alright, if you get the ski slope effect, you have to use the hump jumper. So I'm going to put the hump jumper behind here, lower the foot, and then it'll start sewing through. See that? See how nice? Just like I showed you with all my other machines. So this is 32 layers of like a denim duck cloth type fabric. I don't think, this is not a broadcloth. Maybe it's a bottom weight, but it's more of a denim type. A fancy denim, I would call it. So some of you people who know more about fabrics out there might be able to tell me what this is. So there it is. Really nice. Alright, so now let me change the foot and try one of those wide decorative stitches I told you about. Let me get my foot changed here. Because this is going to require the satin stitch foot. There we go. And let me get a piece of fabric out here. This is muslin. I'm going to use some muslin. Now let me go to my screen here and let me select a decorative stitch. That long, let's see. Alright, I'm going to try this one here. Alright, let's go. See how it moves side to side? Now Viking did that also. And guess what? I've got a Viking in my closet I'll pull out later. It used to be the top of the top, the cream of the crop. So I'll pull that Viking out in my future videos for you. You might have seen me sewing on that in one of my past videos, so I'll pull it out and show you again. Sweet. Oh, one of the other pluses of the Janome at that time, during this era, was it had a button that you pushed that finished the stitch and tied it off. Now on this machine I can select this to a single stitch, and let's see, and on these long decorative stitches, when you select a single, it'll just do the single stitch and then tie off. But the Janome had a button that would tie off all the decorative stitches. So it would finish a pattern, tie it off, and that was it. Yeah, scissor bit. And see? Pretty flower. It's a pretty flower. Let's see, what can you make of that little kerchief, hanky? Ladies used to carry hankies all the time in their little pocketbooks, they call them. They would carry these white, delicate hankies with embroidery like that. Usually it was tone on tone. You know, usually white thread on white fabric. So they did a lot of that back then. Let's try one more stitch and show you before I end this. So we're going to go to alright, let's go to a basic, let's do a scalloped satin stitch, and I'm going to do the stitch, I'm going to increase it to elongation of 5, and let's see what that looks like. Here we go. And I'm just going to make a single. Oh, let's do it again. Well, that's not a very long 5, is it? Let's try it again. Let's see. Select 1, 2, 3, 5. Let's see. Let's try it. Oh, it's because I select... No. Let's see. Interesting. Interesting. Let's try another stitch. I'm going to clear that. Do this. Oh, here it goes. Alright, I had it on memory. I just cleared the memory. And now we're at elongation of 5. Alright, and we'll do a single. Alright, let's go. Now you're going to see the difference. So it's the same stitch, it's just this one's elongated by 5. Okay, see how much longer it is than this here? So that's how you get all those, they talk about stitch patterns, which like doubles or triples the amount of stitches the machine will do, because it does so much more like that. So that is basically, most of you people know all this already, but for the newbies you can see many potential in older machines. So don't think that because you can't afford a brand new machine that you still can't find a machine that has so many features that you can have in a used machine. So visit your local sewing machine dealer. I know a lot of people, the first thing they do is they want to go to Amazon. They want to go to Amazon. Well, you know, don't forget that sewing machine dealer near you, because they have a, oh my God, they have a gold mine in there. And the more you go and visit, you never know what's going to get, what used sewing machine will come in. And go in and make friends with them and tell them what you're looking for. If there's nothing there at the time, leave your name and number. Tell them to call you when they get something. And, you know, chances are, you know, you're going to do some good work. I got a lot of my machines from my local dealer, and especially my used machines. So don't be afraid to visit your local dealer and keep them in business, and keep your sewing room happy and enjoyable. So I hope this little demonstration on this PC6000 here will inspire you. And so if you find anything out there that you want to buy it local, because you know that if you're buying from a dealer, they've gone through it with a fine-tooth comb, and they usually come with like maybe a 30, 60, or 90-day warranty, which you won't get if you buy anywhere else. All right? All right, take care, everybody. Till my next video, happy sewing, stay safe, wear your mask, everybody. The war has not even begun yet out there with this virus. Okay, love you. Bye.